Actually remembered to turn my Do Not Disturb on today, which is always a good fun thing. Let's fix my chat. Now the fun part. Figuring out what we want to do today. There are so many really good ones. Pardon me as I just whack my pencil sharpener, no big deal. I definitely want to do one with a lot of different types of flowers. I'm just not sure which one yet. There are many, and I like them all. I love this one, but it gives me more of a fall vibe, so we're not going to do that just yet. I'm thinking spring or summer, something that looks like it would be just warm and cozy and comfy, because it maxed out at 33 degrees today. I'm not really okay with that. That is cold. I am not a fan of that. I'm definitely a summer person. Do we want to do water? I think we're gonna go with this guy, which means this guy's got to go over here. Sorry, I have to get a little creative when it's the other side of the book. This is one of the few double-sided books that I have. Getting it so that I can work on this side of the page is a little trickier. We're going to start right off with some tan for the path. And then we'll come back in and go over the big stones with a gray just to kind of, or a darker brown, I hadn't decided yet. Just something to kind of add a little depth and interest. But I love my fantasy pictures. I just needed something a little bit different today. And something that makes me think warm and happy, warm thoughts. Can you guess who's tired of winter? It's funny, I was born in winter, and I still don't like it. My birthday is actually coming up next month. But if I could move it to a warmer month, I absolutely would. I was always just a little bit disappointed as a kid because I wanted to be that kid that could have the pool party. That never did quite work out for me. So if you want to do a pool party for a winter birthday, you kind of got to find somewhere with an indoor pool, and that gets really expensive really quickly. And this is not giving me the color I want, so we're going to do something else. There's what I was looking for. That's better. That is more what I had in mind. And I've said it before, I'll say it again, this is a cheapy little AI coloring book. So there are going to be areas where I kind of have to try to create something tangible out of a little bit of nonsense. It happens. When you pay like $1 and change for a book, you don't complain about these things. Now we're going to just go over like this and soften it up a bit. There we go. We have a start. And since I have a handy dandy brown here. Oh, my birds have realized I am in here doing this. So you'll hear them weighing in here and there. They've actually been very, very well behaved today, so I'm sure we'll have at least one meltdown while I'm in here doing this. That's to be expected, and we don't fuss about it too much. They're good birds. They just have their moments. This would be one of those spots where I talk about making sense out of nonsense. We're going to treat this to be part of that. And just come up over the other side of it. Because I am not trying to figure out where fence ends and bricks begin right over there. It happens. You roll with it. If you hear strange noises in the background, I am doing laundry, so that is just kind of part of it. Even when you run a mostly faceless channel, you still need to have clean clothes to put on, because while you can stay around your house and not much of anything, you can't really go out anywhere like that. And eventually we are going to get out of the house and go do something. Just not today. Tomorrow's not looking real promising either. I'm not overly upset about being a little bit snowed in. We did get out very, very briefly yesterday, just to run into town for a few basics. And I promise there is a rhyme to this. I'm not just nuts. We're going to go back over this with a different shade of brown. And it'll kind of tie these bricks in a little bit. Make them make a little bit more sense. But they'll also add just that little bit of interest. And break it up from being all this one color. Because that is not a thing I tend to do. See. Everybody's very quiet today. Usually by now I've got somebody talking to me at least a little bit. To be fair, not usually this close to on time though, so. Everybody has a good day once in a while. There we go. Now you can kind of see what I was saying about the the red kind of tying in a bit. And here comes my YouTube trying to suggest Q&A. And it's kind of funny that its question is my favorite weather, because I think we've already been over that. I like sunshine. Warm weather that I can be out messing around and doing projects. I really like when the weather lets me be outside to do my projects. But even if it's just nice enough that I can be in my workshop, I'm happy with that too. I do promise we are going to get to the flowers. That was the main reason I picked this. I'm just still kind of building ideas in my head and deciding what colors we want to go with, so. Sorry, my pencil sharpener was not doing what I was telling it to, so I had to argue for a minute there. See, it was coming out like this. This is not the effect we were looking for. So. I don't know how much of that is pencil. Ah, that explains it. We haven't had that happen in a hot minute. I would much rather that happen like that, though, than when I'm actually trying to use the pencil. It's a bit better. We're still looking a little rough, though, and I'm needing it a little bit more pointed because, well, see if we can straighten that out just a little bit. I'll take it. It's still not perfect, but we'll do. We'll work with that. And I have a feeling it's going to break on me again. But we really just need it for these two little poles. It can break all at once, and we're not going to fuss about it. There we go. It was an awful lot of work for that little bit of color, but hey. I'm just kind of going in. Not really sure what that's supposed to be. Maybe like a brick oven or an outside fireplace or something, but it is what it is. Now, let's start coloring things green, because we have a lot of greens to do. I want to save my actual flowers for last, just so that we can really get in and have fun and make them pop out, which does mean I need to knock out all of the little details first. But trust the process and we will get there. There we go. Just get that little bit there. We'll take our next green and do this little tree here. pardon the racket from the other room. My washer just went on spin cycle. She's a little noisy, but she does her job, so we don't fuss. Never fuss about a working appliance, because as soon as you start complaining about it while it's working, it will stop. I've learned that a long time ago. Now, that's blue. Sometimes I go to pick up a pencil and the wrong one ends up in my hand, and we almost had some blue leaves and stems, which that's not what we were going for. Just trying to decide if this is supposed to be leaves or flowers or a weird mixture of both. As I said, it is a very, very cheap, and I mean I paid like $1 and change for it, AI coloring book, so there's gonna be places where I just kind of have to create sense where there is none, and that's okay. Because seriously, I paid like $1 and change for this book. So we're not going to complain about that either. Did I turn my chat off? Yeah, we're good. Just making sure. There we go. She is actually starting to take at least a little bit of shape. I love once I get it down to where all it is just adding a whole bunch of different bright colors. I think that is probably my favorite part. And I'm a big believer in knock everything else out, and then you can really just have fun with the part you're really looking forward to. I've kind of always been a do the hard part first kind of person. Or do the stuff you're less excited about. I don't always do that when coloring. Sometimes I'll have a really good idea for the main subject. But when the main subject is a bunch of subjects, you kind of have room to have a little fun. I'm going to do this little section with this because it is kind of a bluish green. And it will float nicely in there. There we go. We are making progress. I swear we really, really are. Come in with some really, really bright green because we can. I think we're going to do that for this little section here, this little grassy stuff. And then we'll do the same on this side for this little grassy stuff. I think that's supposed to be grass, otherwise it's just weird lines, and I'm coloring something that was 90% glitch, and that's okay too. I'm just here to have fun. And this is one thing, and if you've been around a while, you've heard me say it before, probably one of my favorite things with, and one of the main reasons I use colored pencils a lot more than any other medium when I'm coloring. You can get so many different colors from one pencil just by how hard or how light you press the pencil. Like, you can do like that and have just that really, really soft, bright green. Hello, how we doing? Or if you press just that little bit harder, it becomes a much stronger, brighter color. Welcome back, welcome back. I was kind of hoping you'd pop in today. I decided to do something completely different today. I'm kind of keeping an eye out. I want a cup like this in cats too. I've only ever seen the dogs so far. But one of these days I will find the cat version and I will buy it so fast it's not even funny. Babies. I may have to pardon myself for just a moment to go settle the birds. They really haven't been melting down much at all today, so I was expecting this. I left them to their own devices since they were being good. That is my fault. So, if you haven't guessed by the change in the way I'm doing things, I am getting tired of doing green. I am ready to play with my colors and create the really impressive fun part of a flower garden. I may have to hop up for just a second before I do that, though. Excuse me for one moment. You are menaces, but you're cute. Okay, that didn't take long. That is my general policy on... It's not still snowing. It is still snowy. There is still way more of it than I would like to deal with. But it happens. It's actually not a common thing here, which is why it's taking so long to get to where the roads are really safely passable. It's not really anybody's fault. It's just... Normally, it's just cold here in the winter. It does not do the let's pour many inches of snow on you thing. Now, since we have a very, very nice bright pink, let's start with that. You just have to decide where. It's always a little tricky to decide where the first piece of color goes. I'm always just slightly disappointed with the color that comes out of this particular pencil because it looks like it should be like insanely bright. And then it comes out like that. This does not excite me. Let's try a different pink and see if we get a little bit better results. This one looks like I've never actually used it. So let's see what it does. Okay. I feel like this one and this one are in the wrong color cases. Because this looks like what you would expect out of this. This book, I think I got on Temu. I'm not 100% certain. I've had it for a while. It's just a little cheapy AI thing that I bought. I still kind of love it, to be perfectly honest. When I want to do something bright and cheerful, it is absolutely perfect. Now, there are pages that are not colorable. I think one is personally absolutely hilarious. I will never do a live coloring it because it will never get colored because, yeah. He's a mess. But honestly, I mean, for what I paid for it, I'm not complaining. And that's the cover. Just so you can see it. Too far. There we go. So, and that's one of those things you really want to look into. If you see something that looks like it's a little too good to be true, it probably is. It's just kind of deciding if that's okay with you or not. There are some things that I will not take that chance. Honestly, what harm is a coloring book gonna do me? So that's the one reason a lot of times I will take the chance with that. To me, at that point, I've gotten at least my dollar and change of use out of it just in the couple of lives I've done in this one. There we go. When I saw these little puffed things looking like they're coming off of a tree, made me think of one called a dogwood tree. That has these really pretty little flowers. So I decided that that was the color they need to be. And it will probably end up being the extent of pink on this page because there is quite a lot of it. But really, can you have too much of a good pink? There we go. And where you have a good amount of a good pink, you need some good purple too. Well, a lot of times I will come in with a contrasting color. We're not going to do that here. We're going to just come in and go nice and dark right there. There we go. And we've hit our 30-minute mark. Let's see, who do we want to make this color on this side? I don't know that I have one I really want to make this color on this side. I'll do this little oddball blobby thing here. Keeps me from having to try and figure out what color to make it later. I think we're going to make these guys blue. All right, well, if you don't make it back in, you have a wonderful evening. And I'm glad you popped in. If you do make it back in, I'll say hello to you all over again, because that's what I tend to do. Let's get that blue section in there. A lot of times I'll sit and end up doing a bunch of different colors scattered through the whole thing. Today I've decided to just kind of play with it a little bit and make things kind of match their others of their own kind. But it's just because that's the mood I'm in today. It does definitely work though, so. Definitely liking the nice, colorful, fun vibe we have going on here. Let's see what color this gives us. Ooh, perfect. Gotta love a nice bit of orange. Though this is almost more like an apricot shade than orange. I am okay with that because it's still a very nice, cheerful color. There we go. Pardon the moment of quiet. I just had to stop and take a drink there, but that happens. Helps if you swallow it the right way, but you know. Who knew? You can't inhale coffee. It does not work. There we go. I think we're going to come in here and do this whole little section into like a little cascade of yellow. Because yellow brightens everything up, doesn't it? It's this nice, bright, sunny, vibrant color, and I love it. Just makes everything pop a little bit brighter when you've got a good section of yellow in somewhere. I have a feeling I will be coughing coffee for a while now. Not sure yet if that's going to make things better or worse, but it's worth a shot, right? I think we're also going to make this little oddball section under here yellow as well. Just have a little pop out there. And this little oddball back here between the orange and the pink. Let's see. And let's come in and do a little bit of proper orange. A little darker, a little stronger, a little more in your face kind of shade. My birds are very offended that I did not stop and just start paying all of the attention to them. Which honestly does not surprise me. Hello, I am great at coloring. I am actually terrible at drawing. This is a coloring book. A fantastically cheap little AI coloring book, but still one of my favorites. I enjoy it very much. I have definitely become a huge fan of coloring over the years. I can trace really well, and I can draw a main stick figure, but that's as close to drawing as I can personally get, though. And as far as that, it's honestly just patience. You know, if you expect to sit down and be done right away and have it look like you spent the time on it, it's not going to work. I've been at this for almost 40 minutes now, so it's just the patience and layering your colors and playing around until you find where you want it to be. I also spend a great deal of my time painting things, and this is just a really good way to pass the time when I can't be outside painting because the weather is ridiculous and there's nothing I can do about it. That's not what I was trying to grab. I kind of wanted this shimmery purple for this orchid looking guy here. It's funny. AI creates a lot of random stuff, and then it does one almost perfect looking orchid. Go figure. The other attempts are less perfect, but that one gets the point across well enough. It's a flower I wouldn't mind keeping again. They're fussy, but they are beautiful. Hi, Lori. I missed you popping in. I spend way too much time staring at the book and not enough time staring at the chat. I put that pencil back before I did what I originally grabbed it to do. I am tired of cold and winter, so I decided I wanted a nice summery picture today. I am ready to get back out in my workshop and out in my garage and just outside in general. Me and Winter are not friends. I am ready for her to go away. They still haven't paved my driveway. I'm a little salty. I'm ready to get out and wander around a little bit. I'm not sure what color works for this guy. I feel like it should be almost like an orangey brown, but I am not 100% certain. Actually, this might work. Okay. Does this actually put color? If I push really, really, really hard, it finally puts some color down. Okay. They were not kidding when they said light yellow. Half afraid I'm going to color right through the page on that one. But it did kind of actually achieve the color I was thinking it might would work. I think we need a touch of like a dark pink. They call this hot pink, but I feel like it's too dark to be a true hot pink. And after that, I think maybe just a touch of red. I think we're getting close to actually done with it. Slowly but surely. I do apologize. I know my hand is covering the whole thing right at the moment, but there's just a bubble right there at the seam, and it's really hard to color on it, so my hand is actually holding that down so that I can actually get in here nice and neat and spot the 3 dozen leaves I missed. I don't know if that's the right green, but I'm not too fussed about it. It all kind of blends in after a while. There we go. And with my one little oddball pinky flower there still kind of works with this. This one has ended up taking a little longer than I was expecting it to. I am not even mad about it. Let's see. More pink. Nice new red. The only thing about these newer pencils that I got that I don't absolutely love is they come with a flat tip. And it's very hard to color with that. I'm not sure what these are supposed to be, but I think red will make them pop nicely, won't it? Some of the different ones I can kind of spot what they're supposed to be. Others, I have no idea, but we're going to go with it. Alright, I didn't realize I finished this side up except for a couple of little details here and there. I think we're going to sneak under here and just do this little oddball area like that. Let's see. There is not nearly enough blue on here to satisfy me, so I'm going to do this guy. In this shade. And then we're going to grab this guy and do all of this stuff up under here. Oh, I forgot about that. I think we'll do that back in that red. No. Maybe we'll do this. I think we'll do this in the blue. Because I'm not 100% certain what that is supposed to be. I think my brain was just completely blocking it out. I just didn't even notice it because it doesn't seem to be anything specific. But a bunch of little blue flowers together works for me. And then I'll come in with a different shade of red for this. Can't believe I was just gonna like not color an entire section there. I mean, in my defense, when you take away my glasses, I am legally blind. I don't know if that makes a good excuse for missing an entire chunk of the page. That's our story and we're sticking to it, right? So now we just need these guys up here, which I think this lighter blue will be good for. Because I do love me some blue and I didn't use a crazy lot today. I can make excuses for myself overlooking, you know, the little pieces on the sides. I still don't have a good excuse really for missing an entire chunk right in the middle of the page, though. Now, we're just going to come in and catch all of these centers here. I don't think I'm going to do those in this brown, but it works for these guys because these look like different variations of sunflowers almost. So, and then I think we're going to go with a different shade of orange for the centers of these, just to kind of fill them in and make them pop out a little bit. Now, all we have left to do is pretend like we're putting color on the sky. No. We are going to put color, just not a crazy lot. Same as always. Me and my little suggestion of color. You can kind of sort of see the difference. I don't like to leave huge sections completely uncolored, but I also don't like to do huge sections in like a really hard color. So if it's big sections like the sky, I like to go very, very light and just kind of hint that the color is there so that it's not like trying to overtake the rest of the picture. And I think that has got her done. I don't know what kind we're going to do tomorrow, but we will be in tomorrow as well. And probably Friday, because I'm scheduled off, and hopefully by then I will be able to at least get out of the house for a few minutes. But until then, I will talk to you guys next time.